Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Clay is about to dive into some juicy, epic empowerment for you, especially if you are a man, to dive into your, oh my gosh, just like I feel it. I feel the power surging in me, and specifically turn procrastination into productivity to really align yourself, your whole body, your being, your mind, your heart, all of it. So definitely stay tuned because we're going to go freaking deep and go ham. Go balls to the wall, or whatever your feminine parts are to the limits of whatever that is. We are going to go all in, okay? Ultimate alignment, we're going to dive in. Specifically, I'm talking to you. You're a world-changing human being, and I want to support you however I can. Number one, I recommend stay tuned to this 12-hour marathon in our podcast. Keep getting all these doses of inspiration, encouragement, strategies, tactics, and wisdom to become your greatest possible self. And then also, if you have any questions, if you want to keep growing, if you want to be a guest on the marathon, if you want to launch your own podcast, let's talk. I'm here to support you however I can. You can find me on Facebook.com/TH3Burns, Instagram at I am Millionaire Chris, and Chris at beyourgps.com. Would love to talk to you about how you can become your GPS even more. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week it's by Dr. Lokilani, who says, inspiring. Chris Burns has a knack for attracting people to his show and turning their stories into powerful messages that inspire many. I love his passion and drive for his work. He authentically comes from the heart and truly impact individuals, society, and the world to make this a better place to live for all. Amen. Hallelujah. Keep inspiring us, Chris. Absolutely, Dr. Lokilani. I promise to continue being and becoming my greatest possible self and keep sharing this message. And if you listening or watching right now want a chance to get shouted out on a future 12-hour marathon and your greatness and your review and what you think of the show, definitely go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on Apple Podcasts and give us a review. Thanks so much in advance for doing that and helping us to keep growing the show. Let us know what you think and love about it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to introduce Charles in just a second here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes. I know this is going to be spicy. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. We're going to take it from good to great to excellent to extraordinary to, I don't even know what is beyond that, interstellar or something. And we're going to have a lot of fun, definitely. So stay all the way through till the end because one idea has the power to change the rest of your life. Let's introduce Charles and then bring him on the screen. Charles Clay is a dynamic speaker, published author, men's empowerment coach, and founder of Empowered Men's Mastermind and group training, as well as Neurokinetic pain relief specialist. He has dedicated his life's work to optimizing our human potential by improving the mind-body-soul connection. Charles has helped countless men transform their pain into purpose with his roadmap to self-healing and self-mastery, and he offers powerful and playful practices for releasing resistance, tension, and stress to activate our zone of genius and share our greatest gifts. And we're blessed to dive into an epic conversation with him today. Charles, are you ready to rock the house, my man?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Thank you so much for being here, bro. I appreciate you. And we're going to have a lot of fun. I love that I even said playful in your intro, which is rad. So specifically, we're diving right into the theme of today, which is ultimate alignment. Charles, what does that mean to you? How has it impacted your life?
Chris, it is such an honor to be here first. And I want to honor you for the incredible work that you're doing and the way in which you show up, brother. Like, this marathon is epic. And I would just love to throw you a snack or something, like some Scooby snacks right now with all the hard work you're putting in. I appreciate
That's all
you,
right.
brother.
It's king. I'm the king around here, man. I get my own snacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alignment is when you know you're in alignment, when you feel the flow state. You feel like signs, synchronicities, serendipities just showing up and opportunities arising that are aligned with your vision. And then internally, that's, where everything's firing on all cylinders. So we found our center. We are, aligned with all of our energy centers. Like, everything is firing on all cylinders. Yeah. And you know it because it's that feeling when the same energy that creates planets is flowing to you and through you. and you are just stepping into that highest, greatest version of yourself. And man, it feels good.
That's right. That's right. I love it, man. I love the firing on all cylinders. Like, dude, we
Mhm.
are seriously high performance machines. Our bodies, our
Mhm.
souls, like this journey that we're on called a human experience, man. And I love your shirt. It says "Ship Captain." I'm the what is it? I'm the captain of my fate, the master of my soul. I think is Ernest something. I don't know. I don't know who says it, but it's awesome. It's an awesome quote. So
Yes.
I love it. I love that you're embodying that, man. And let's talk about empowered and how you're supporting men and your clients today, man.
Yeah. So we get to offer a container
Mm,
for men to be seen, heard, felt, expressed, and offer support and accountability, and just the the space to be able to fully be yourself.
mm,
Like, take some of those masks that we have to wear throughout the day with all the different roles, the hats we wear, all
totally.
the different shape shifting that we're doing.
Mm,
You can put all that aside and just be fully you
mm,
and true to whatever's coming up, whatever is happening internally. It can You can share that to be expressed. Any fears, any doubts, any of the mind chatter, right, that
mm,
takes us in a downward spiral. All that can be burned when it's expressed, right?
mm.
When it's felt fully and released. So that's one of that's what it's built on,
That's
trust,
great. That's
right?
great.
That's the container that we build for this work. And and then we get to take the men on an epic journey.
Mm,
It's a road to self healing and self mastery, and this is by detoxing the mind and body so we
mm.
can align with our soul purpose.
Dude,
And
fire. Fire. So we gotta
mhm.
have that foundation cleaned up so that we can build upon it and really rocket. Let's just say
Yep.
rocket on our purpose and our journey. And Charles, this is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that and how you serve the men. I know we're going to be diving into this even more. Specifically, though,
Hmm.
let's go back on your journey and talk about what was life like for you and how did you get started on this path of empowering men to be their greatest possible self, man.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, asking that. Man, where to begin on the story, right? There's been so many challenges, so many awakenings, so much pain, so
Mm,
much joy, and I think that's where I'll begin. Is one of my profound awakenings, and just keep in mind for the viewers, like, get to dive into some of the challenges that you've encountered and that
mm,
you have experienced, and being able to pull out those golden nuggets, those lessons, those
yeah,
blessings from that now give us gifts that we get to share and help with others.
yeah.
So I just wanted to turn the reticular activation on for that as you
Mm,
listen to my story, because I'm sure you can relate. And I graduated from Washington State University, go Cougs, with
mhm,
my degree in kinesiology, and I've always had this fascination with the greatest technology on the planet. And
mm.
it's not our smartphones, it's not our computers, it's not video, it's not VR, it's not AI. It is this,
That's right.
this, these human bodies that
That's
we
right.
get to call home for such a short time. So that's been my fascination, my passion.
Mm,
So I got my education in that and got to study human movement and use that to help change lives through fitness. I became a personal trainer right out of college, moved to San Diego to Paradise, and began my journey there. And man, I remember, I still had the kind of the shadow and the addictions from high school, from college, that kind of went with me into my daily life. So during the week, here I am, like, transforming people physically, mentally, and even emotionally and spiritually. But on the weekends, I was going out
mm.
and just like self-sabotaging.
Yep.
I was going out, getting unconscious, drinking, whatever distractions I could use,
Mm.
to not feel what was heavy, like what was
Numbing.
heavy on my heart, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I learned that denial is not just a river in Egypt. It was it was that was I was denying the fact that some of these substances that that I was using were becoming abusive, and that I wasn't establishing good relationships with those. I think the universe gives us like a little feather, like a little, hey,
Right.
something's out of alignment here. You might want to make some adjustments. And if we don't listen to the feather, then eventually it's like a brick hits
Yeah.
us, right? The universe, another sign. They're like, hey, wake up! Like this needs to change. And if we don't pay attention to that, then eventually it's like a major breakdown. Like full on Mack truck hits you or something, right?
That's right.
And so I'm stubborn, and I've learned the hard way many times, and this was back about 9 years ago. I was found myself snowboarding up in Mammoth and having a blast in the middle of a blizzard. Like seriously, snow was coming in every which way. The mountain was so dangerous. They closed the lifts, but we were already at the top. So it's just me and a couple buddies up there, and I told them, we can't even see feet in front of us besides like the blur of a tree or something. So just be low, stay low, and be ready for anything, right? And so we got about halfway down the mountain, kind of split up, couldn't see each other, and all of a sudden, I'm taking a jump that I didn't know was there, and I'm midair, and I feel like I just went off a cliff. And I remember like my heart stopped, like everything tensed up, and I just freaked out in fear. And so as soon as I landed, the impact was like a lightning bolt just hit my low back. And it was the most excruciating pain. And I remember just laying there, like every move was met by daggers and like just this like lightning bolt of pain. And I was like I was yelling, I was like trying to get help. My friends couldn't hear me, so I grabbed my phone. I'm gonna like see if I can call someone, and my phone's dead. And so I'm sitting here on this mountain, like on like a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most painful. I'm like at 11, right? And I'll tell you, in those moments of extreme, excruciating pain, you really learn a lot about yourself. Like having to channel my inner Spartan warrior, right? And really just like muster up the strength to pull my board off and like sit on it and like go as far as I could slide down and then fall over, just breathe into it, and then kept doing this till eventually I finally made it down the mountain, and I was a wreck. And then went and saw these doctors, right, and these experts, and they're showing me X-rays and herniated disc and smashed lumbar, like all this, like I'm just a mess, and they're telling me that I need surgery right off the bat, like as soon as possible. And I remember just like tuning into that, and my intuition was just like, don't do it, don't go under the knife. So I made a promise to myself that I would begin my healing journey and try any means naturally to heal this before going under the knife. And so in the healing journey, I found myself, lying there trying to crawl to the bathroom because I was in so much pain at one point. And I just laid down and I said, like, that's it. I surrender. I'm surrendering into the pain. I'm surrendering into all the emotions that need to come up. And that's when it hit me, like all the stuff that I was trying to hide from, that I was using substances for, that alcohol, weed, Facebook, you name it, like any distractions that I could to not feel these heavy emotions that were now coming up, like shame for, not being able to express myself fully and not even being able to get up and go to work, right? Like shame, I was talk about alignment. I was about as far out of alignment as you can imagine. And it's shameful to be seen like that. Like I didn't even want to invite friends over to help me. I had to think twice. And so fear of like, am I going to ever heal from this? My ego getting involved, and then just despair and like all these heavy emotions that I really had to like sit with and feel. And I just like remember crying and just like in just deep despair, like just needing help. And so I made a prayer and asked for answers and solutions to healing this. And I remember I put on a meditation, and it was by Abraham Hicks.
Heck yeah.
It's a great meditation for general well being.
Mm.
And during that meditation, as I asked for answers, literally, I remember my phone getting a text. And after the meditation, I picked up my phone, and it was a friend I haven't talked to in years. And he says, hey, I heard your back's messed up. Check out neurokinetic therapy.
Mm.
And I was like, neurokinetic therapy, NKT, this is the work of David Weinstock.
Mm.
So I started following this rabbit hole and was fascinated by the work he's done. And so I ended up getting him on the phone, and I'm like, David, I'm in so much pain. I think you can help me. I'm willing to try anything except for surgery. And so he set me up with one of his top students in San Diego.
Mm.
And that was when I met Christina and had my very first session of NKT. And mind blown. Like, I walked into her, I looked like, Shakira. I had one stuck in like a mid hip dance move, like one hip's over here, my body's over here. I was a wreck.
Yeah.
And she got me on the table, and we started working through testing muscles.
Mm.
And, my glutes weren't firing. And I was like, what do you mean my glutes aren't firing? And she's like, yep, all form, no function. And so next thing you know, she has me clench my jaw, and then we start testing the glutes again, and they turn on.
Wow.
So what was happening was my body was telling us that the trauma and the resistance and the tension was blocked in my jaw, creating a neurological traffic jam. So the signal wasn't getting to the big guns, the core muscles and the glutes, to help stabilize my spine.
Mm.
So she's like putting on these rubber gloves, and she's like, I know we just met, but I'm going to have to go in your mouth. And I was like, you're going to what? And so she does this massage on my jaw that is super painful. And after that, all of a sudden, traffic jam gone, and my glutes are firing really well again. So she did this for a couple other muscle groups, and I hop off the table, and I'm like, oh, I'm in like full alignment again. The pain was, I was like 90% better in one session.
Damn.
And I gave her a huge hug. I was like dancing, and I had this epiphany right then. I was like, I need to learn this. This is my path. This is how I'll turn pain into purpose. And so it was beautiful. I went on to take to study under David Weinstock and take his courses with NKT, and it was just the coolest, most fascinating. Just geeking out on how it was connecting so many dots for me, and in ways of getting answers from the body in a really fast and effective manner to figure out the root cause of pain, instead of just treating symptoms and trying to use pills and all these things that can just delay and make things worse.
Damn, man. So this is powerful. So you were athletic before, you had some like trauma to your body, which was life saying, hey bro, wake up. Like, you're not paying attention, you're numbing, you're avoiding, you're running, you're not feeling, you're not connected, you're not present. Right. And so you were experiencing all that stuff. You get thrown out of alignment. You make a decision to yourself, which I think is super powerful. I'm not going to do that. You listen to your intuition enough to say, I'm not going under the knife. And then you, like at one point, you just surrendered to God, source, universe, creator, to like guide you, to say, I don't know what the heck to do, but just show me. I'm done with this pain. I'm done with trying to, figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
You got the Abraham Hicks meditation. You went to this NKT practitioner. And then you got yourself back into alignment. From there, you said, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm meant to dive into. I got the story correct so far?
Yep.
Cool, man.
Yep,
So where did you
And
progress from there? How did you get to, where we are today?
Yeah. So from there, I got to start my neurokinetic pain relief therapy. So I began implementing this into my training. So instead of, clients that were having knee issues, we would just avoid that doing lunges that day. Now it's like, no, let's take a look at what's going on here. And this was amazing because I had, clients that were dealing with back issues, chronic back issues for years. Right. And I was able to figure out the root cause turn these muscles on that were compensating and not firing properly, and all of a sudden they're getting full functionality. And once you restore function in the body and you're getting the signal to all the proper muscle groups, then there's no need for the check engine light, which is pain.
Wow.
Right? It's like
Wow.
our bodies are telling us, all this information, this beautiful messages, and some more intense than others. And so I got to help a lot of people, including those that were also considering surgery, and tried so many things. They came to me, and usually in 1 or 2 sessions, I was able to give them a mind body tune up and allow them to get back in the game and know how to do these quick tune ups so that they can be in full alignment again and restore all the function in the body. And all of a sudden the pain disappears and they're like, what did you do? This is amazing. And they're also learning, how to reconnect them with themselves and their body and the greatest technology on the planet. So it was such a gift. And what I found in that, through years of that practice, was that, especially with the men I worked with a lot, there was another couple components, right? Like we were addressing the physiology,
right,
but there was always some deeper stuff. There was a metaphysical component behind each thing, and there was also an emotional component intertwined to this, right? So that led me on a journey to studying all the different research, all the different methods of getting to the bottom of the emotional blocks and some of the metaphysical reasons why this would occur. And so I learned so much, gained so many golden nuggets, and that's when I really start creating a space to allow people to feel what they need to heal. And that was along the lines of the emotional journey about, all these spots that we were releasing physically would a lot of times trigger some of the hidden emotions that were, you go from energy in motion to all of a sudden it gets stuck when we try to resist and not feel it, and that becomes issues in our tissues, right? So that is really what was underlying a lot of the pain, and we got to create a container to help heal a lot of that, and it was really powerful work. And so had a lot of men that were showing up and tried everything else. They're like, man, I don't know why my back keeps hurting. I don't know why my neck keeps going out. Like all these things, and it's always like the last place you look, right? So we lie them down, we do some muscle testing. And so I was able to address the physiological aspect, which is really cool because they feel it. Like all of a sudden everything's turned back on and you feel a lot better. But then underlying that was, allowing them space to feel what they needed to heal, and some of the deep emotional baggage that we carry all the way from, our childhood, and being able to send love to that inner child that needs to express itself in ways that we haven't allowed yet. So so my work expanded quite a bit, and then I began running. This was working so well. I began running a high vibe tribe, and this was on the beach every summer. Every week, I would just have a crew. The community was invited to come join us for self-healing practices, and this was profound. I mean, it was just like a new level of fulfillment for me to get to work with groups, and get to share my genius, and then and allow everybody to be seen, heard, and expressed, and start to tune into why those challenges happen to them in their life, and what they've learned from that, and the golden nuggets that they've gained from that, and then to complete that hero's journey, to share that with those that could also benefit from that, right? And only to begin another hero's journey.
That's right. That's
and
right,
and so yeah,
freaking powerful. Charles, this is gold, man. I really love how like you took your pain, right, and turned it into your purpose, turned it into healing people. You also recognize that what was on the surface, the physical level, isn't the whole picture, right? There's like different dimensions. There's the physical body, there's the emotional, there's the metaphysical, there's mental. I don't know, the emotional and mental might be relatively the same, but like there's all these different layers. So now like you're holding space for these people to share and to be free of that. you recognized that men was a particular group that you loved to work with, or were most fulfilled in working with. What was it that you said, I know I'm meant to work with men and create more of these groups?
Well, one, I can relate to him. Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
and two, I'll be really vulnerable, and this goes all the way back to some of my early trauma. And when I was growing up, my mom was like the biggest heart ever. Like, she was just such a gift, and we just loved spending time with her. And she also had, her shadow side of addiction and alcoholism and smoked cigarettes. And so at age 10, um, I remember getting picked up by my dad from baseball practice, and he pulls the car over, and he turns around and tells us that our mom had just died. And I just remember at age 10, that was like that might have been more painful than fast forwarding on the mountain. This was just like someone like really hitting me with a bat right in the gut and in the heart. And that news just changed everything. And ended up, I remember sitting next to my brother at her funeral and trying not to cry. Because why? Because I picked up the belief somewhere that, men need to be strong, and then we can't show weakness, and that men aren't supposed to cry at age 10. And so that resistance took me years and years to unfold and peel away. And I'm sure like so many men can relate to this. And that's why my heart really went out to the men that have experienced something similar and have been experienced loss and pain and all these challenging parts of life that can be transmuted and alchemized into gold, into rich experiences, into lessons and blessings that we can go on to share with others and help them on their journey. And so it was like, as soon as I was able to move through, to finish the story, fast forward, I was feeling so tight in my body all the time from all the working out, from going gung ho, full bore, around that time, that I decided, maybe this yoga thing might be good for me to get some lengthening with all the strengthening I've been doing. So I fell in love with yoga, and then I became a yoga teacher trainer and went through my training. And after that, I wanted to expand on that. And I remember a friend that also did a yoga teacher training saying, "Hey, there's this client came up to me and talking about this Buddhist retreat with Michael Roach, and he's a Buddhist monk that's teaching in Guadalajara, and there's meditation and there's yoga." And I stopped in mid sentence, and it was like my intuition just went like, "We need to go." I said, "We're going," and he's like, "Dude, I don't even have like a dime to my name right now." And I was like, "Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out, and we're gonna go." And I ended up gifting him and paying his way, and we got one other friend on board, and we didn't really know what we were in for. They were just following my intuition, and so back then, this was the first time I'd been greeted by like 150 people from all over the world that came to learn these ancient teachings in Sanskrit and basically the science of karma that Geshe Michael was teaching. And so we were just greeted by like unconditional love and hugs, and like, this is before I lived in Encinitas, so I was like, whoa, this is like super peaceful and loving. And so right off the bat, I knew there was something special about this retreat. And then fast forward, I ended up doing this yoga class that at the last day. So we're doing these meditations that are like super profound. 3 times a day, we're learning the science of karma, and we're diving in deep and just peeling layers of our heart, right? Like, it was just like armor coming off left and right. So by the last day, I remember I took this yoga class by this a good brother of mine named Christian, And Christian is known for having like the hardest challenging yoga classes, right? And
Mm.
so my ego got checked because I was still dealing with some back issues at that time. And so, I said, hey, I'll just go and do what I can. And so here I am in the class, and doing what I could was like almost nailing the splits for the first time, like balanced on my heel on one foot and the toes in the back, and like just like feeling new expansion of
Yeah.
my, like no limits for my body. And in that, as I lied there in Shavasana and just meditated, something magical happened. And this is going from like me, super science minded, had to see it to believe it, like always very by the book, very skeptical,
Yeah.
to all of a sudden I'm in meditation after the most profound yoga class, and I could literally see and feel my mother like come to me with this golden blanket, and I got to embrace her again. And I just felt her with me. And it was just the most beautiful moment that of like finally coming to peace after all these years, and it just like the tears just started pouring, just like ugly cried right in the middle of that Shavasana. And so my brothers were like holding my hand, make sure I was okay. And then I I was called after the class to share what had happened, and everybody just came over and like pig piled, and it was just this giant, big hug and loving on me. And so I got to see the beauty in being vulnerable, and also coming to peace with the death of my mother, and everything I'd had to work through to find my tears again, and so I know that was like the first time I remember leaving that retreat, thinking, realizing, like really feeling in my heart, like, wow, like world peace is possible.
Mm.
Like this is the first time like I realized like this is possible,
Mm.
as this is creating a ripple effect. And so when we are able to open our hearts this much and go from a place of like ego, of like, what's in it for me? Like, what can I get out of this? Got to do, all of a sudden connecting to this space and taking a deep breath there. And it turns into, look at everything I have to give.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. What can people do listening right now to reconnect with their heart? What else would you recommend?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you've been on the journey for a while, and yoga was something, surrendering was something. Tell us a little bit more about what we can do on our end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for so many men, and me included, Charles 1.0, it was like that 12 inches from the heart to the mind seemed like the longest distance ever.
Yeah.
I would get so caught up here sometimes. So really, some of it is, it starts with awareness, right? It starts with being aware of when we're stuck up in our head, like just checking ourselves when we are giving in to all the million distractions that are not important, that are not, it's like we're each gifted with this magic wand, right? As soon as we're born. And that magic wand is your most prized possession. It is the most valuable asset that one can have. And it's our attention. It's our conscious attention. And so where that attention goes, energy flows, right? So when we place our attention on all these external things, right, whatever's like trying to get our attention, it's basically like our mind's getting hijacked over and over, and it's keeping us up here. And that's an untrained mind is the root of all suffering. So just to be aware of that, and then begin some exercises. So for all the viewers, I recommend, just get a simple note card that you can fit in your pocket, and a pen that you put on that. And each day, like for one day, just take a full day and just take a tally. Every time that you notice that your attention is drifting to something that isn't fully important, that isn't in alignment with your highest, utmost path and importance. So, that means like being conscious when you go on Facebook, like, what am I going on here for before I even open that app, right? Like, what is it that I'm seeking? Is it connection? Is it what? Instead of just the autopilot of like, boom, and then next thing you know, like 2 hours go by, you don't even know where it went or what we just did. So that's the hijacking that occurs that can cause massive suffering because it's taking us so far away from our heart space. So, one great place to start with awareness is just keeping a tally of how many times throughout the day that you notice. You just make a mark every time you notice, like, oh man, I got caught up in this YouTube video, and there's no need to be hard on yourself. It's just bringing awareness to the fact that our mind's getting hijacked by all these distractions, and everybody wants your attention. Everything wants your attention, right? There's so many shiny things right now that it's easy to get hijacked. So that's one thing that that will begin to bring awareness to it, right? And then another thing is to just begin asking why to everything. Like, why is this book here? Like, why is my closet a mess? Why is that person saying that? And just begin to ponder, like, why is it that I need coffee in the morning? And why is it that I reach for this glass of wine every night as a routine, right? And as you begin to ponder those things, you take a journey of self-discovery. And for me, this journey was super profound. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this as well. Finally, I realized, like, I got past denial and I was like, okay, obviously my relationship with alcohol is not serving me. So I'm going to create some space with that. And I took, I committed to like a month off. Right. And then in that month, even in the first week, I was like, yes, I'm doing really good. Like, this feels good. I feel way lighter. I'm seeing massive benefits already. And then what I started noticing was, little by little, I was like starting to smoke more cannabis. And I was like, I caught it. So now I'm like just trying to transfer something. Right. So then I quit alcohol and cannabis. And then little by little, I started noticing I'm eating more sugar. Right. And I'm like, what is going on here? Where is this spiral taking me? Right. And you know what I found at the very bottom of all those addictions and vices and distractions? I was seeking fulfillment, and I was consuming more than I was creating. So my soul, my heart knows that, wow, all these gifts, all these talents, all these passions that I have in this lifetime to give, to share. And if I wasn't doing that, then I wouldn't feel good, right? It was like this emotion of like, man, this doesn't feel good. It's kind of like this, I don't like this. What's going to make me feel better? And then I would go for the quick fix, trying to get instant gratification. And really what I was searching for was long-term fulfillment, but I wasn't getting there because I was reaching for all these external substances. So I was so glad that I took that journey and really discovered that, wow, I have a full-on like Pac-Man program running. And it was like every time I have something great to create in the world, I would hit resistance, and then instead of going over that hurdle, seeing what's on the other side and expansion, I would give in to the fear and the easy way out and just reach for something for short-term gratification, right? So that Pac-Man program, that still comes up. Like, I still see it, but now the awareness, taking that magic wand and realizing, I see that. I know why I want to go digging on those chips right now. It's because I haven't written yet today, or I haven't, got to post or share or create something or play some music, like what's really, so tuning into what's really allowing for that long-term fulfillment deep from within, as opposed to the mind playing the games of like, oh, this will make you feel better. Just this quick fix right here. Just have another drink, blah, blah, blah. All right. So being aware of all that is the first step. So that is, as you tally those marks of how many times you're getting distracted, you might be amazed at how many distractions in a day occur. It's just mind blowing, literally. And so this is the journey that we help men go on, because, another thing I gained on this lesson was that, whenever I said, I was a man of my word, right? Like, I was really integral when it came to showing up for other people. So if my friend said, hey, I need you to help me move, and I committed to that, boom, I could be there. You could always count on me, right? Or meeting for coffee, they always, would show up.
Yeah.
But what happened was I started to realize that I was not holding those agreements with myself as much. And it would start as something really small, right? Like just, okay, I know texting and driving is no bueno. And so I'm going to cut that out for a week. And then like a couple days in, autopilot, right? I like notice I'm like, oh shoot, I'm doing it again, right? I'm like texting and driving. Damn, I'm getting too good at that. And so, so then something as simple as that, like not texting and driving, or saying, okay, I'm not going to do sugar this week, and then giving in without being aware, right? Like giving in, just like going for that autopilot without even, questioning it or taking a deep breath first. Every time I was doing that, I was chipping away at my integrity, my self-trust and my confidence. And so that took me in a downward spiral. And I thought, it's these things that are so small that it doesn't have a big impact and it's fine, whatever. Then I would forgive myself and then do it again. But what was happening was that it would literally take me in a downward spiral to a big, that was like the micro things that create the macro effect, right? Which was, that's why when I wanted to create something great in the world, a new program or this amazing idea that would come through, I would, as soon as I met resistance, I was like, I don't know if I trust myself to finish that fully. Right. And so then I would just give up and take the easy route and just go for some food or something. Right. Because I was losing my own integrity, showing up for everybody else. But when it came to myself and my own agreements, I wasn't keeping them. And boy, that awareness like drove me. I was like, this is it. Like I'm giving that up. And now everything I commit to myself, I'm going to stick with fully. And that's how I gained my integrity back and my self-trust and my confidence. And I needed that to create in the world. That's what, that way, when you get met by resistance, because as much as I do, and everybody listening, when you get the call and you're supposed to do something great and you're just like fired up and you're in full alignment, you're like, yes, I'm going to share this with the world. And then what happens? You're met by resistance, right? And the resistance is the opportunity, like the speed bump. It's an opportunity for you to grow from. It's to get you out of your comfort zone and to move through that. So, so that's what we get to help the men with, take that journey. And it's a really profound, amazing, experience, because they get to start with their truth. You start with what's not working in your life right now. And then what can you commit to that is going to work, that's going to help you on that path, right? And then, when we try to do this on our own, this is when we can lose integrity and self-trust really easily. But when we start calling in accountability, and you have other brothers like there to support you and have your back through this, then all of a sudden it's like, well, it has a lot more clout. And then that you're fully supported, so that when you hit those hurdles, you have some other means, some support, some help to reach out to, instead of just giving in, or instead of running off to your man cave and trying to deal with your emotions on your own, which is like total Charles 1.0. I did that for years, and just like, I'm not feeling good, I want to go hide out in my man cave and like process this on my own, and wait till I'm back to like superhero status and can come save the world again before I come out. Right. So that was another epiphany for me, because I realized, like, how great does it feel to be able to help those that you love when they need your support, when they're in need of your help. Like, it's amazing, right? It's this huge oxytocin boost when you get to support someone. They get the care that they're needed, and both people feel like this great level of fulfillment and a deeper connection and vulnerability, right? So why would I deprive those that I care about the opportunity to help me when I needed it? And as soon as I, came to that place, it was like, it shifted everything for me. And I realized, like, we need more of this as men. We need more of these containers that are set in a place where we can take off the masks and the hats and start sharing our truths and start burning those things, those fears, and the self-doubt thoughts, and all the crap that comes up that prevents us from sharing our greatest gifts, talents, and passions in the world. And as much as I do, boy, when we try to not to share that stuff, like those golden nuggets, when we try to like keep them to ourselves, it'll eat us up inside.
Yeah.
It's just like the worst feeling. And anytime that you're not feeling good, it's just source saying, hey, it's time to realign. You're getting a little bit off track from what your true, authentic, genuine self. And so it's like an internal compass. So it's been quite a journey, and it's such an honor to be able to do this work and take these men on this same journey, because we get to do it together, and it builds like this deep level of brotherhood, camaraderie, and like it goes from like being the lone wolf to holy cow, there's something so much greater that we're working towards. And
how can men start to create more brotherhood, like where they're at? Like what's a way to create that feeling of closeness and like those bonds?
It's an art form for sure. If you you can start with like meetups and things like that, but really there's an art form to setting that container. And it's too bad that this isn't the stuff that's taught at school.
Right.
Because imagine how much healing would already have occurred had we been able to reach out when we're in times of need and weakness, instead of like trying to hide and run off and telling lies and everything's fine, yeah, I'm doing great, when you're really just miserable inside. So I encourage reach out. This is creating a ripple effect, so there's more and more men's groups now. There's we're starting to see the impact, the power in numbers. So it's beautiful what's happening right now. So encourage you to reach out, and even we offer we do interviews, and those interviews are like super high value. They can reach out. We offer 20-minute calls where we just get to dive in and real talk. Knowing me, I'm much more into real and big talk over small talk. So these calls, we just get to hold space and see what's going on in your life. And then even if it's not with us, then we can still offer resources and make sure that we find you what you need, where your next step is in life, to make sure you're not staying stuck.
So you said interview, is that like a strategy call or something where it's like one-on-one, or is it a group kind of format? What's it like?
Yep. It's a one-on-one call. It's super simple. It's just a friendly chat to see where you could use support in your life. And we just ask a series of questions, find out more about you, and then offer support resources and guidance, and see if and how we can help you. And if not us, then send you in the right direction to some of the other great organizations available that are doing this work. So
that's awesome.
It's and that's what's beautiful. That's when that you're connecting the heart with the mind, is when it's all about, instead of like, what can I get out of this? It's like, wow, how can we create win-win-win situations? And winning for everyone involved, right? And that's the only way we do business. And that way it's like, win for you, win for me, win for Mother Gaia, our earth and everything. It's got to be. And that's when you're deeply in that heart space, is when you can empathize and consider and really feel into the best interest of everyone involved, instead of just the ego selfishness, which it's easy to get caught in that. And so these exercises are super profound, and there's just really ninja training tactics to train our mind to lead with our heart, and it's beautiful. The results have been astounding. Like some of the men, I'm just so proud. One guy landed his dream job. He was homeless basically, and couldn't find a job, and he did this 8-week roadmap to self-healing, self-mastery. And within 8 weeks, he literally was like working at his ideal job overlooking the ocean,
Dang.
And then another guy was able to get out of a toxic relationship, and that was bringing him in a downward spiral, and able to express himself fully. And one of the guys was able to finally start up create his startup, his idea that he's been holding on to forever for artificial intelligence. And so to see these men just stepping into their greatness is like, it is just goes so much beyond money. It's like this deep level of fulfillment that I was seeking for such a long time externally. And so
Dude, so beautiful. So Charles, how do people get a hold of you? How do they take these next steps, find out more about the Empowered Men's Group, and have a conversation with you?
Yeah. So easy way, through social media, you can reach out, Charles Clay on Facebook, and feel free to send me a message through Facebook Messenger. That's easy way to set up a call. And then, or if you have any questions, you can find me on Vacation Vibration on Instagram. And that's a whole nother beautiful story about how that came to be. And you can email at fitlifesd@gmail.com is an easy way to reach me. And and then greatestyou.com is my website, and that's greatest the letter u.com.
I love it, man. We're freaking alignment. Greatest possible self, greatest you. I love it. I love it. I love it. So fitlifesd@gmail.com. They can find you on Facebook, Charles Clay. And you said Instagram is Vacation Vibration. All right. Awesome, man. Tons of opportunity. And just if you're out there listening, watching right now, like, and you're a man and you're ready to take those next steps, you're ready to heal, you're ready to step into your power, your courage, your like epic masculine energy, and be the leader for your life, as well as the people around you who you care about. Definitely have a conversation with Charles, see what you can do, and see how you can grow and take those next steps, and what resources can help you get there. And Charles, dude, I appreciate you being here, man, and sharing this wisdom and your journey, and just about your life, and the awareness, the evolution from Charles 1.0 to where are we at? Charles 7.0 now? Like, are we like
11.11.
Yeah, right. 11.11. I love it, man. So cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for sharing, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Likewise, brother. So much love. Appreciate what you do. Keep on rocking.
Promise.
All right.
Promise.
See you guys.